Now that's just another groove to kickstart your morning.
That's right. Good morning, Fiji. It's Gold FM bringing you the classic hits to fine-tune your mornings.
And Fila still trying to fine-tune her voice.
And as always, Pedali still trying to wake up.
Now this is where you'll find us every morning from Monday to Friday.
On Daybreak with Pedali and Fina from 6 to 9. Join us.
जहाँ हो प्यार का बसेरा और रिश्तों की खुशबू, वो है आपका अपना घर संसार. Join me on घर संसार, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. only on Radio Fiji 2.
Tonight, people need to take charge of conserving nature, says President Ratuepeli Nailatikau. Union negotiates merit pay system for staff at Shangri-La's Fijian resort. And kindergarten fees, is it too high? Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate, and this is FBC News. Pacific Island delegates have been urged to send a strong message about the region's shortcomings caused by climate change. President Ratuepeli Nailatikau made the call while opening the 9th Pacific Islands Conference on Nature Conservation and Protected Areas. Mika Longa reports.
President Ratuepeli Nailatikau stressed the need for the Pacific to start empowering ordinary people to take responsibility in protecting the environment in order for the region to implement effective national or regional conservation strategies.
We need to inculcate a new culture in the Pacific, one of personal commitment to conservation and sustainable development, and the daily observance of it in all our lives. Do not use our pristine environment as a rubbish dump.
People will settle for short-term gain. That's our nature. Societal change at any level requires long-term engagement, and we don't have those processes.
This year's theme of the conference is Natural Solutions, Building Solutions for a Changing Pacific, and the Fijian president says we especially need a revolution in personal attitudes to make every citizen realize that it's their responsibility to safeguard the environment on land and sea.
Reforestation should be a national priority in every Pacific community, in every Pacific country. Fiji has instituted a range of initiatives to encourage this cultural transformation.
Ratuepeli went on to say that there are bigger forces at work that are beyond our control, thus the need to form a much stronger union.
We now have zero-rated duty on biodegradable plastic, zero duty on portable sewage treatment plants. Each successive conference over the past 38 years has generated an action strategy as a guiding framework for our collective conservation effort.
But let's make sure that the messages from this conference feed in, have influence into this key conference for our region, for all small islands next year.
The conference ends on Friday. Mika Longa, FBC News.
Meanwhile, Fiji has taken over the chairmanship of the 9th Pacific Islands Conference on Nature Conservation and Protected Areas. Acting Prime Minister and Minister for Environment Said Qayyum takes over the position previously held by Papua New Guinea. Said Qayyum says Fiji looks forward to working closely with its Pacific neighbours in safeguarding the environment on land and at sea. He says Fiji is already obligated to serving the international community in peacekeeping missions as well as its Pacific neighbours.
That service, ladies and gentlemen, extends to our commitment to work with all of you to tackle and resolve the great environmental challenges we all face as we struggle to protect our surroundings.
The conference ends on Friday. A historic merit pay agreement has been signed between the Shangri-La Fijian Resort and Spa and the union representing its workers. This is the first time a resort has successfully negotiated such a pay structure for its staff. Christopher Chand reports.
The National Union of Hospitality, Catering and Tourism Industries has managed to strike a deal with a Fijian resort that will see a new merit pay system for staff.
Fijian resort is the first to have accepted the system. It'll be implemented January the 1st, 2014. And from there onwards, we can only see progress for both the Fijian as a resort and its workers.
A worker will be graded within a scale of 1 to 5 points. A high-performing worker, scoring the maximum in his or her performance evaluation, can expect a pay rise of up to 5%.
It has not been easy negotiating this. We've negotiated with the Fijian resort. The management is happy with the negotiations, and they are also happy in a system that rewards hard workers within the establishment. So if somebody works hard, they get extra pay.
This basically means a worker at the Fijian resort gets an opportunity for 2 pay increases per year, the new merit system and the cost of living adjustment.
This, of course, goes hand in hand with the fact that we're the only resort in Fiji that does across-the-board bonuses. So we recognize the efforts of our staff. Without our wonderful staff, we wouldn't be anything.
Both parties expect this will encourage greater productivity, and the union is approaching other hotels to negotiate the same merit pay system. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
The Early Childhood Association has defended fees charged at kindergartens around Fiji. President Melaniani Kuruvesi says teaching preschoolers is more expensive than primary school studies and they can't run without adequate funds. Shireen Lata reports.
There's no fee structure for kindergartens in Fiji and some charge as much as $200 per term. The Early Childhood Association says the money caters for the many necessities for preschoolers.
This is realistic to say that kindergartens are more expensive than year ones because they need to have a lot of resources for all domains in whatever, whether it's physical, psychological, or whether it's the other domains of the learning. They need resources, and all these resources cost money, a lot of money.
Permanent Secretary for Education Dr. Brijlal Elia told FBC News that they are looking at setting up a fee structure. Melaniani Kuruvesi says they are looking forward to it.
I hope that can happen in the not too distant future, but it needs everyone's input in it, and we need a lot of discussion on that one.
Kuruvesi says early childhood education is necessary for children to prepare for primary school, and even now they are struggling to meet the ideal student-teacher ratio in preschools.
An ideal student-teacher ratio would be 1 to 15, but we know here in Fiji that is unrealistic because we have so many children. In our situation, because we do not have a lot of teachers and our resources are classroom, maybe we're looking at 1 to 25 or 1 to 30.
With the theme Early Childhood Education, the link to our future, the association will have a week-long conference in Nandi from tomorrow. They'll discuss issues faced every day and what needs to be done to improve standards. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
Major renovations planned for Nandi Airport Departure Lounge. That's after the break.
Nimbula, methango nimilote na isaro tambua. Nama kia umina rua kina ona na via kavi moniti kina wakaromuka. Rongo mena via sama kina viva ka barota kini ndreko malolo. Ena Radio Fiji 1 na wongani via niano. Ngai nama kia kina.
आपकी शादी होने वाली है 5 बच्चे होंगे 5 हाय मैं हूँ आपकी सहेली वेनू सुनते रहिए मिर्च एफएम मैं हूँ ना 9 से 12 बजे तक
Welcome back. This is FBC News. A 23-year-old businessman from Honiara was found in possession of more than $31,000 worth of foreign currency at the Nandi International Airport yesterday. He will appear in the Nandi Magistrates Court tomorrow. The Chinese national came to Fiji on a transit flight bound for Australia. Le Wen Chen has been charged with one count of failing to declare foreign currency and is expected to be produced in court tomorrow. In a second incident, another foreign national was found in possession of over $15,000 worth of foreign currency. Fuyuku Hori, a Japanese national, appeared in court today and was granted bail for $2,000. His plea has been deferred to Thursday. Hori arrived from the Kiribati yesterday afternoon. There will be major structural changes at the Nadi International Airport next year. Airports Fiji Limited says there are plans for an international class departure lounge for visitors leaving our shores. Chanel Sivan reports.
The Nadi International Airport will see improvements to its infrastructure from next year. Speaking on FBCTV's Current Affairs show For the Record, Airports Fiji Limited Chairman Faiz Khan says there will be lots more to offer to travellers.
The major structural change will be in the departure check-in lounge. So as you go to the international departure check-in lounge, you've got very low ceilings. It's about 2.5 meters at the moment. We want to take it up to, we will take it up to 7.5 meters. So that whole departure check-in lounge, the roof is going to go. So that's where the major structural change will come in.
Khan says following these improvements, AFL wants to get better returns on its facilities. Starting with a clean slate, new businesses, mainly eateries, will be able to bid for space in the International Departure Lounge.
We want to go out and get market rates. One of the historical issues has been, that we are not getting market rates. So we want to be fair. We want to go out and enter into contracts which are based on a willing landlord and willing tenant. We don't want to force anybody. So whatever is the best rate, we get, it'll be good for us. It'll be good for the country, and of course we want quality.
Khan says there has been lack of proper investments in the state-owned entity, and so more money will be pumped in upgrades and efficiency. The tarmac will also be resurfaced soon. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
Fiji's newest domestic carrier, Interisland Airways Fiji Limited, will start with a fleet of 3 aircrafts. The company hopes to get an air operator's certificate from the Civil Aviation Authority by the end of the month, setting March 17th as its launch date. Christopher Chand with this story.
The company will use this type of aircraft in Fiji, the 19-seater Donia 228. It's likely to increase its fleet size gradually.
We operate these airplanes to do it today in American Samoa. And we're looking to increase that fleet up, basically doubling to tripling that fleet over the next couple of months as we build up and so forth. So we're going to start with what I refer to as airplanes that can actually get into Sabu and Taveuni and Kadavu and those particular locations.
Bani Sene says Inter-Island Airways will have flights out of Nadi and Suva to major centers in the country.
In terms of frequency, what we're really shooting for is just make sure there are regular, consistent schedules. In other words, there needs to be daily flights to every destination. That's number one. Number two, you need to then ramp it up so at least you have at least 2 flights a day to every destination.
With a promise to soar high into the domestic market, the new airline is expected to make airfares affordable.
As we get closer, we'll be able then to release those fares and prices and so forth. It just makes sense for us to continue to explore the market and just look at where things are, because it changes. It changes as you go along. So we don't want to, state something that may, end up being, one direction or another.
In total, there are about 14 airline companies operating locally, mostly as chartered carriers, with only 2 serving domestic flights. The much-awaited arrival of Inter-Island will boost competition. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Senior executives in the civil service have to work together and ensure accountability at all levels, says Permanent Secretary in the Prime Minister's Office, Colonel Pioti Kunduondua. He was addressing staff from the Fiji Roads Authority in a 2-day workshop on the Constitution and good governance. Vusita Kotewasawasa reports.
Colonel Pioti Kunduondua says it's time executives and managers were accountable for their dealings.
We have seen failures of risk management, a spate of contract-related scandals, and outright fraud. That's why this workshop is so important. so that we might not repeat the mistakes of the past.
This gathering is expected to help decision makers understand the 2013 Constitution and why it's important to stick to the principles of good governance. Honesty is the most basic asset any civil servant should possess.
To the directors and senior management present, it is up to us to set a positive example for what is acceptable behavior and what is not. This will ensure that we have independent, transparent and accountable dealings.
Tikondondua is calling on the Fiji Roads Authority to adopt methods and procedures which are in line with the Constitution.
FRA must ensure that business processes are strengthened so that we can always demonstrate exactly how and why decisions are made.
The workshop at the Novotel in Lamy ends tomorrow. Wasita Kotewasawasa, FBC News.
The second phase of training for the Ministry of Labour's senior executives in working towards ISO certification commenced today. Minister of Labour Chone Usumate, during the opening of today's training, highlighted that the most important aspect of any organisation is to understand the customer's perception of value.
This particular workshop is training our own staff to be good auditors of the system. So we establish a system, and the people that we are training here, they will audit our system to make sure that we are meeting the requirements of the system. That's what we're trying to do. At the end of the day, it's basically to provide better service for the people that we serve.
Ministry of Labour staff and staff from other ministries are participating in this workshop. The 5 days of training is being conducted by 2 resource persons from the International Register of Certified Auditors. And in sports time again, here's Jamie with the latest.
Good evening. Coming up, mobile company Digicel pleased with Fiji Sevens and look forward to renewing its sponsorship with the FRU, and Triton Swimming Club to facilitate water safety classes for school children. All the details after the break.
Isambolo binaka, na dango wadi soni dalai, na makio mani wasini ngono borota kina lali ne kabi, mai na tolu kina bitu, ena moni digina por rombuka, ena mbula FM, na bandu ena serre.
I wake up in the morning, I prefer to go down to the gym, get a bit of physical work done. Also later on in the day, I decide to go through for meditation. I do a bit of reading to find out what the latest songs are, a bit of research. And for me, it's all about the listeners.
Hey, what's up? I'm Rio, and this is the Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 o'clock to 7, only on Today FM. Today is hit music. What's up?
Welcome back to FBC Sports. The Digicel Fiji Sevens team heads off to South Africa later today for the Port Elizabeth tournament this weekend. And after the brilliant performance in Dubai, the team did the nation proud and raised the confidence of those who contributed to the victory. Interisland with more.
The gallant performance by the Digicel Fiji Sevens rugby team in Dubai continues to draw praises. The latest to join in are 2 who have played key roles in helping the side achieve success over the weekend.
It's like when you've put so much effort onto something and then finally you're getting results. You should know how proud and how excited you may feel, and all those feelings mixing up in your head, you just don't know how to feel.
Kuituanga had 3 of his players in the side, which included forward Semi Kunatani, Moses Mawalu and Donosio Ratumbuli. This he expects to have a trigger effect for the rest of his side.
Ryan, I had a slim conversation with him before he left for Dubai, and he's saying that if we keep doing what we're doing now, I'll be losing a lot of players.
Digicel, which despite waiting for its contract renewal, has continued to support the side in its endeavours.
Incredible result. I think the whole country are delighted. We're obviously always have been and always will be extremely proud to be associated with them. I think a number of new players, Ben's first win, an incredible win over, more people are talking about the win over New Zealand than they are talking about actually the win over South Africa, 44-0. It was just incredible. And obviously the good work and the hard training and everything they've been doing on and off the field is now paying dividends. So it sets them up nicely now going into South Africa.
Now it's off to South Africa, but the true tag of grand achievers will come through consistency. If Ben Ryan and his brigade can continue that, we sure can say the code is back on the rise in the country. Interesting. FBC Sports.
And Digicel Fiji has indicated it wants to continue being part of the Fiji Rugby Union's plans. The company has submitted its proposal for sponsorship renewal of the National Sevens team and the Digicel Cup.
We've submitted our expression of interest. I've been working very closely with, as I'm sure other sponsors have as well, with the chairman for the marketing committee, Mr. Billy Singh. That's been a very positive and constructive working relationship, and with the board and throughout Fiji Rugby Union. So yes, I've always said it and will continue to say it. We are absolutely looking to continue a relationship. It's got to be right for Fiji Rugby, and it's got to be right for Digicel. And I'm hoping in a very short period of time we can come to agreements and continue a long-standing relationship.
The FRU is still to make an announcement on the new sponsors and is likely to do so in the new year. The Triton Swimming Club has produced many top national swimmers, but this time around they have embarked on a different project. Starting today, in partnering with the Fiji Sports Council and the Ministry of Youth, the Tritons have started conducting water safety classes for school children. 30 students have been identified for the initial project, while 30 others will start their classes in January. Triton's President Banube Yalimaiwai says such classes are necessary, especially with the high rate of drowning in Fiji. The Fiji Sun Skipper National Football League is all set to kick off next month. Fiji Football's league board is anticipating a good season with automatic promotion relegation all set to start. Shelvin Chand has more.
There have been changes made to the National League. The matches will now be played on home and away basis. And with the threat of automatic relegation, the league board is hoping for fireworks.
Competition will be very tough this year, as we'll be having 8 best teams competing in the National League. And apart from that, teams should be cautious enough throughout the season. They should maintain their consistencies, as that last team will be demoted to Premier Division automatically.
The Premier Division teams know that it's time to beef up the squads, as they now have better chances of moving up.
Premier teams will be fighting for the best within the division, and after all, the winner from the division will be automatically promoted to Super Premier Division.
The league board says there will be no stoppages in the next season and hope to finish on time. There is also good news for the Navua team.
Good news for Navua fans, as they will be able to see the home games of Navua at Thompson Park.
With the exception of Nandi and Ba, all teams will kick off on January 18. Ba and Nandi will be playing in the champion versus champion. Shalvin Chand, FBC Sports.
That was your sports. It's back to Jackie now with business.
All restaurants in Fiji need to comply with the Food Safety Act and food safety regulations if they want their licenses renewed next year. A week's training has started in Suva today to enlighten restaurant and refreshment bar owners on the standard of food safety required. They have to be on par with these laws or shut down at the end of this month. The Health Department of all municipal councils will inspect restaurants at the end of the training and recommend whether licenses should be renewed. And it's time for Monday's weather.
Yes, it is. And how about that heavy downpour this morning, Jackie? Judging from the map, it looks like we weren't the only one. Showers and thunderstorms all over Fiji, and as usual, the west brightens things up a bit with some sunshine. To be fair, even though I'm not one for rainy weather, I would welcome showers and thunderstorms if it meant cooler temperatures. Lautoka's got the highest today on 32, Suva and Nandi following on 30. Tomorrow sees more heavy rain for the country. East to northeast winds are at 10 to 15 knots, winds becoming predominantly northeasterly from tonight. Seas are moderate, and there's bound to be poor visibility for mariners, so please be careful. And that's Monday's weather. Thanks so much for the company. Here's a great photo from our friend Romitesh to get your evening off to a lovely start.
Thanks so much for that, Genevieve. The headlines once again: people need to take charge of conserving nature, says President Ratoepeli Nailatikau, as a week-long regional conference gets underway in Suva. Union negotiates merit pay system for staff at Shangri-La's Fijian Resort, and Kindergarten Association says running a preschool is expensive business. Results from last week's poll question, we asked, what did you think of the Vodafone Fiji Mbati's performance at the 2013 Rugby League World Cup? 44% responded excellent. This week's question, can Fiji win the 2013 IRB World 7 Series? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email, citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your stories at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's news for today. Until tomorrow, Nimo Demanda.
Sophie.
And I'm Tix.
You can join us on The Breakfast Show
every weekday from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. right here on Today FM.
That's right.
सूरज की पहली किरण के साथ दिन की शुरुआत कीजिए। सुबह का मंगल प्रभात आपको शुभ हो। सुबह सुबह हो खुशियों का मेला, ना लोगों की परवाह ना दुनिया का झमेला, पंछियों का संगीत हो और मौसम अलबेला। मुबारक हो आपको ये खूबसूरत सवेरा। हर सोमवार से लेकर शुक्रवार तक सुबह 6 से लेकर 9 बजे तक शामिल रहें रेडियो फिजी 2 पर हम सफर में रविंद्र सिंह के साथ।